If you ask me for my overall perspective, the first thing I'd say is that I think we over-talk trade a lot. Trade is easy to explain in politics. You know, exports are good, imports are bad. But if you look at the global economy, obviously you don't see a lot of that anymore. You see global supply chains, global distribution networks. So we should talk less trade, I think. You know, investment, market access, those issues are more important. But if it comes to explaining populism, you know, I really think two other forces are more important. The disruptive effects of technology, massive, and the fact that in the US and most of the Western world we had flat incomes for 15 years after 2000, that was a recipe, or at least it made the world really ripe for populism. And in populism, you tend to want to blame the foreigner, either foreign markets or immigrants, as we're seeing in a lot of politics.
David Ricardo, I mean, that became dogma. And it's true, though. Comparative advantage, you don't need to make things that, if they can be made better.
Right, and I actually, the more I think about this, the more I think that's a profound point. So from an economic standpoint, difference is a good thing. Division of labor, comparative advantage, you do what you're good at, I do what I'm good at, we trade, we do better. Yeah. Right? But in politics, difference leads to friction. Now, I think when globalization was a positive, we leveraged difference, it was comparative advantage. When the politics starts getting more powerful, you see difference as a negative and it creates more frictions. And that's the tilt that we're in right now.
Well, no, I just want to get to the China stuff, because I would say you don't have necessarily a consensus view on what we're going to see today, because you're at a business school. The normal academic at one of our universities now, I would just think would knee-jerk and say any type of trade tariffs, trade war, bad. But I don't want to put words in your mouth, but you think that China is a threat in terms of technology to the United States in the future, and this may not be completely, you know, not justified what we're doing here. So is that fair to say that
threat's a powerful word. I do think that what we're witnessing with China now is much more about innovation and investment in the future than it is about trade and tariffs, which is a bit backward.
They don't do it fair either, do they? I mean,
well, that's the big question. So intellectual property theft is clearly unfair. Is it unfair for governments to regulate their own markets? You know, everyone does that, but then it becomes a matter of degree.
But wait a second, is it unfair that we send a car there and they slap a 25% tariff on it? They send one here and we slap a 2.5% tariff on it?
Yes, but what's happened in the last 25 years is that tariffs all around the world have gone down. Now, it's true that China still has what's been true for all emerging markets for a very long time. They tend to have strong industrial policy. They tend to promote local firms over foreign firms. The problem with China is it's too rich now and too big. We can't treat it like, yeah, that's right. And that's why I think that's the inflection point we're coming to. The Chinese mentality is we're still an emerging market. The rest of the world says, come on, you're a gorilla, you're not an emerging market.
Right.
Hey there, thanks for checking out CNBC on YouTube. Be sure to subscribe to stay up to date on all of the day's biggest stories. You can also click on any of the videos around me to watch the latest from CNBC. Thanks for watching.